Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So let me show you how this trade played out. This one I did not catch it, but it is something that I was looking at it seriously, so I did not catch it, but I'll explain. And then it is also based on some explanation that I wanted to offer on the strategy. The strategy is very simple. It is Asia London sweep. I was actively looking for it, but I'll tell you the reason why eventually I didn't get it. This as I'm recording this video, it is on 30th, but this trade was on 29th. So I was actively looking for this entry here with this order breaker block here on 5 minutes. So this was the trade. So it played out successfully, but there were some things that were not clear that I wanted it to be clear, and for that reason I didn't bother taking it. So I'm going to provide you some explanation and also nuggets on this strategy. It is very simple. It is a sweep of Asia or London and you are good to go. And then there is clear break even, there is clear take profit, there is also a clear checklist for it, because I trade mechanically using a checklist that is very clear, and for that reason I don't have so much. I'm just trying to eliminate most of the emotions that comes with the trading. So like you can see, this market upon sweep of opposing liquidity here, which is London, we should have gone break even immediately. So this was the trade. This was a 1 to 3 trade. That is the trade. So this is today I was waiting for this London sweep here. You can see if it swept this, I would have gotten a very beautiful entry like the one I've explained in my previous video. Check my previous video for detailed explanation. This of Asia. Today I'm offering an explanation of London, and now the other video I offered. So I'll be alternating them based on the trade I take, or if I miss any trade I also document it here. So you can see this trade ran for eventually a 1 to 3. Obviously big stop losses like this, I always prefer to just go for a 1 to 3 or trade that run overnight. And the reason why is because of how messed up sometimes you can wake up and it may mess you up. So I was waiting for this London to be this Asia to be raided, and unfortunately I did not get the raid. So my entry would have been somewhere around here, stop loss just below the raid, and then I would have targeted at least a 1 to 4. It would have been this simple, very simple raid. I did not get the raid, so I was supposed to wait for New York. Currently I was waiting for New York to get raided, but unfortunately using the checklist I've told you, it has already been invalidated, and therefore I don't have any trade that I've taken today. So that is why I decided to shoot this video to show you some explanations on how the strategy works. So currently London New York has already invalidated everything, and you can see this is where price is currently. You can see it is starting to give some short buys, but I know that they'll just come to somewhere here and then it will keep tanking. There is a reason why it has been invalidated. So as much as we have a sweep of this here, but there are some reasons why we don't just take any sweep. We must have clear sweeps, and then there is also protocols that I'm checking that are invalidated. So as much as it may play, but for me, I'm done for the day. I've not taken any trade. My favorite trade was here, but I lost it. This one is invalidated. So if you want the reason why I invalidated this trade some few minutes ago, is because I have a clear checklist here, which is for Asian session sweep checklist. Check the previous video that I uploaded. It has already explained this in detail. Then I also have London session sweep. So if you have a session sweep in London, there is what you need to do, same to in Asia. So those are the only two time frames you can trade. This strategy is very simple, and we only trade it on the pairs you've seen here: GU, German 40, and Euro USD. As much as you can trade it in gold and other pairs like GJ, UJ, you can trade it on other pairs, but you have to backtest first. But my backtests, I prefer these ones. I don't need any more because they give me good trades and good entry, so I don't need many of them. So this was the trade. It is very simple, very straightforward. So let me explain in details why I did not take it eventually. So just for the sake of it, if you want the if you want the checklist, come here. This is the day I was looking for my from the checklist I have. I was only looking for GU buy and GU buy, and that day I invalidated EU. Again, there is this part here, which is the GU buys, but this one I did not take it because there was no session read, as you can see here. Then eventually didn't even work because I obeyed my rules, and so I did not take the trade. So I also have a private community here that I check, so that I run here. These are guys we trade with. So if you're serious, I'm going to involve you in the group. If you're not serious, we just stick to YouTube. So this was the trade that I was looking for today, as you can see here, very early in the morning, but unfortunately there was no raid, and therefore I did nothing about it. I just let it slide like that, because yeah, you can see here I marked here clearly that this is the raid I was looking for, and since there was no raid, I did not take the trade. So I watch these trades every day. We share here in the group. We have different checklists. There are so many checklists. There is even this checklist here. You can come and check. So with that, you'll be able to get yourself acquainted on how we trade. So let me go and explain the strategy in a very simple manner. So let's break this here. So let's cut that there, and then let's remove everything. So let's go to 1 hour and see the break of structure. I can assure you, you don't need that break of structure in 1 hour. The strategy, the checklist does not need any break of structure. I actually don't even check. So there was some sort of sweep here. This one I'm just providing for context, nothing more, nothing serious. So that is why we targeted this, and the reason why we targeted this, another reason. These ones I'm just contextualizing it, but we don't need, the checklist does not need this. You can have a clear break of structure here, you can see. So for those people who don't need the checklist, you can just add this break of structures in 1 hour and 4 hours, and then get your trade. For me, I don't use these ones. I only use it on 15 minutes. I am only on 15 minutes until I see my entry. The checklist does not provide anything to do with the higher time frame. It is so simple as that. I will tell you why. If you ask for the checklist, is free. The reason why I only stick to 15 minutes and wait for the entry, and I don't just take any entry. This one was here, but it was invalidated because of time. The checklist provide clearly everything. So if I wanted to take this was invalidated. As much as it worked, it provided entry here, and then stop loss. I know this was stop loss, and then another entry here, and then we had TP hit. But this one was invalidated because of time. This is late, and then secondly because Asia was raided and gave very good entry. Check my previous video and you will see the explanation of this trade. Now for this, the time was correct, so you can see upon New York open, we get a raid, and immediately after the raid we get a 15 minutes closure. It is only after 15 minutes closure that we shift to 1 minute to check for the change of character. If you don't see change of character in 1 minute, do not trade. That is how the checklist is very specific, because we can have this as a complex pullback like this, that, and then we have a pullback somewhere here, and then we continue. So we must have a clear change of character for us to validate that this trade is valid. So we need a change of character somewhere here, or even on the least side. This is the last pullback that we had. We must have it, but personally I preferred this one. That is why I didn't take it. So when market moved like that, 15 minutes had already closed, so I'm confident of the move. And then I'm also having internal chalk, which is not a must, but I'm just seeing it. Of course I could have taken it using this internal change of character here, and then if my 15 minutes close, since my 15 minutes close somewhere here, so I would have taken it at here, which was still valid. But the checklist is very clear that it is 15 minutes closer first, and then secondly we check for change of character in 1 minute. Without any of them, we don't take trades. So this I waited for this change of character, and then I saw this. Immediately I saw this liquidation, I wasn't that much interested because I wanted this thing to close above here. So with that, I just left the market. So when I came back, I realized that eventually we had my entry would have been at this breaker block here. By the way, I use breaker blocks for entry or order flow, regardless, it doesn't matter. So you can use this breaker block here, or you could have used this, the nearest internal order flow. This is the last sell before the buy, so you could have still used this one, either of them, there's no problem. That is what I use. Is order flow, that is that. So I would have just taken half of this order flow. That is what I would have taken. So that is what I actually, this is, I wanted to only take it on about half of this order flow because it is the most recent one, and I will tell you why. So maybe somewhere around here, because here is half of is near the breaker block, and then somewhere half of this, and then stop loss will just be below here, or you can have a safe stop loss here, or you can have it somewhere here, because after all, if this trade idea is wrong, this thing will be liquidated, and if it is liquidated, most likely it will even liquidate this low, so there's no problem. Either of them was just valid. So the reason why I'm saying you use the recent order flow is because of something small. If we are having internal movement like this, you can see the way the market is obeying order flow, and for that reason you don't expect deeper pullback. Always don't expect deeper pullbacks if you are having such a thing. So this would, and if you see a pullback, there'll just be sort of liquidations, and then they move, because this is 1 minute, so 5 minutes we'll have to manipulate, and so on and so forth. So with this was my entry, but when this liquidation happened, I wasn't interested anymore, so I left the market. So this would have been it. So the alternative thing was me to wait for this, but now it was too late, so the checklist forbids taking trades that late. So that is why I even left, because the 2 hours into my trading session that is clearly indicated in the checklist was over, and for that reason I couldn't wait. So there was no entry yet here. So the entry came after we had a closure. You can see this is 1 minute change of character here. This is the 1 minute change of character, and for that reason we already have a closure above the 1 minute change of character. You could have even, if I zoom here, you will see that there was also a change of character. So with that, now you can look to take your trade. Let's see if it will pull back. So just wait and see if it will pull back. So you can see the way it was very late. So there was a pullback, successful pullback with some sort of drawdown, and then immediately the market started moving, and that is how the market moved rapidly. So you can see the way the market moved. Now there's one thing that I need to note: stop loss, break even. We go break even when we take opposing liquidity. Like in this case, opposing liquidity would have been at 1 to 1. Alternatively, if the opposing liquidity was somewhere here, we would have gone for break even at 1 to 2. This is not overnight when I'm about to sleep, you can see. So that is why we don't take trades such late hours. So this is now the full TP went for a 1 to 3, because it is overnight trades and don't need to force issues with overnight trades. Overnight trades can be so much overwhelming, and therefore you don't need to force issues with them. Just let them play, and then if you are break even, you take your break even. If you get a stop loss, you take your stop loss and move on. So that is the trade, and that is how it played out. So if you are aiming for 1 to 4, I think it didn't move to 1 to 4, just move to 1 to 3 point something, because of overnight trades. They don't play very well overnight trades. So currently this trade has been invalidated, and as you can see, the momentum is on the downside. If you want the checklist, join the group, and only if you are serious. I don't like jokers, I already have enough.